Good evening. The Wayne County Advisory Plan Commission's meeting for tonight, January 15th, 2026, is open. Steve, in the absence of our regular new person, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Berger. Mr. Curley.
Here.
Mr. Dwenger.
Here.
Mr. Hollenberg.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Mr. Phelps.
Here.
Mr. Renier.
Here.
Mr. Saunders.
Here.
Mrs. Scruggs.
Present.
And obviously, we have a quorum for tonight's meeting. First order of business will be the approval of the minutes from our most recent meeting, which was on Thursday, November 20th, 2025. If you've had an opportunity to look over the minutes, are there any corrections or comments before we move to vote?
I didn't see any corrections, so move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the minutes for November 20th, 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Minutes are approved. Steve, I'll get this signed copy back to you. I'd like to welcome a new member to the board tonight. We've been absent the Extension Office for quite a while, so we're glad to have a new person on board, Justin Curley.
Curley.
Curley. And again, he's with the Wayne County Purdue Extension Office. Justin, you want to give a brief bio of yourself?
Sure. I've been with Purdue University for 10 years in the role of extension. Most of those years have been in surrounding counties. I live in Wayne County. I live in Hagerstown with my family, so I was super excited after 10 years to finally get the chance to work in my home county. But yeah, my wife and my 3 kids live in Hagerstown, and happy to be here.
We're glad to have you. Thank you much, Justin. Steve, do we have proof of publication for tonight's public hearing?
You have certified public hearing for both the Western Wayne News and the Richmond Palladium item.
Right. If you recall, on our last meeting in November, the flood hazard ordinance, the revised flood hazard ordinance, came up in the meeting as new business in a public hearing, and we tabled it for the next meeting. We did not have a meeting in December, so this is an order of business for tonight. And the public hearing for Resolution APC 2025-6, which is a resolution to consider repealing the ordinance for flood hazard areas for Wayne County, Indiana, and replacing it with the flood damage prevention ordinance for Wayne County, Indiana, which primarily provides new and improved definitions, improved guidance, and addresses agricultural and accessory use structures within the floodplain jurisdiction of the Wayne County Advisory Plan Commission, and is the topic of discussion here tonight. And I will ask Steve to give us a rundown of the proposed ordinance.
Okay, you do have highlighted in yellow are expanded to provide additional guidance in the new ordinance, and anything that's highlighted in that purple color is new. I must tell you that this is a requirement if in fact our community is to be part of the federal flood insurance program. You don't have much wiggle room with the language in this, but we did want to kind of give you an overview of what the changes mean to Wayne County. As you know, Wayne County is a insurance community, as well as Richmond, Centerville, Hagerstown, and Cambridge. So a lot of the definitions that you find on, they start on page 4, actually page
3.
Page 3. There are some new definitions, and again, there's nothing in there that I think should cause us any heartburn, if you will. These are required definitions that have come up over the last couple of years since the last ordinance was passed, I think in 2015. It's just to add clarity to the new ordinance. And so if there's any specific questions in the definitions section that we can answer. So if not, then the text of the ordinance picks up on page 12. And there's just some clarification, but the main difference between this ordinance and the previous ordinance is the DNR is actually, I don't want to say loosened up, that's probably not the right term, but there are a little more allowable criteria for accessory structures in the flood zone. Before, anything that was less than 400 square feet was permitted. Anything over that required a DNR permit. Now, they've relaxed that just a bit with some criteria that starts in the latter part of the ordinance. In essence, they give a little more guidelines as to what can be permitted in the flood ordinance or flood zone if it's an agriculture or an accessory structure. And basically, if it's an open-sided structure now, those are permitted with certain criteria as to how it's anchored to the ground. And then if anything that's over that 400 square feet, they give you some additional guidance as to how those structures that are agricultural or accessory can be permitted in the flood zone without going to the DNR and obtaining a permit. So it's a little better for our community. The rest of the ordinance is substantially the same.
If anybody hasn't looked over the section about accessory and agricultural structures, it's on page 30 of the proposed ordinance.
I might say that we did make I think Laura had sent you previously a couple of the changes that she had suggested, or at least what you had discussed. The DNR has approved those, so those are included in here. I also will tell you that we are doing Spring Grove as well as Greens Fork, and so they will adopt an identical ordinance, so they will be the same ordinance. The rest of the communities that are part of the flood hazard insurance program will adopt the same ordinance, but this is for the area of the Advisory Plan Commission's jurisdiction, excluding those communities that have 2-mile fringe, which they will be covered under those communities that have that jurisdiction.
And you said Hagerstown, Cambridge City, and Centerville?
Centerville. And those are the ones that have the 2-mile fringe with Richmond, so their flood ordinance would be applicable outside their corporate boundaries within that 2-mile fringe area,
Okay.
not ours.
Thank you.
Although they're going to be pretty identical.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Steve, just out of curiosity, who will be the floodplain administrator for the majority, well, the ones with the 2-mile fringe? I know Richmond will have their own flood.
Right. So currently, Laura was certified and I'm certified as a floodplain administrator. So I'll continue that role until the new administrator gets certified.
But how about communities like Greens Fork?
We are the floodplain administrator there, and we're the floodplain administrator in Spring Grove.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I would recommend to the committee that you adopt this with a favorable recommendation to the county commissioners.
Thank you, Steve. I will read the Advisory Plan Commission's resolution number APC 2025-06. A resolution to recommend the adoption of a flood damage prevention ordinance concerning land use for the unincorporated area of Wayne County, Indiana, within the jurisdiction of the Wayne County, Indiana Advisory Plan Commission. This ordinance, if adopted, would repeal and replace other ordinances and amendments adopted by the Wayne County, Indiana Board of Commissioners to fulfill the requirements of the National Flood Insurance Program. However, this ordinance does not repeal the original resolution or ordinance adopted to achieve eligibility in this program. Whereas the Wayne County, Indiana Board of Commissioners adopted a flood hazard areas ordinance on June 23, 1993, for the purpose to guide development in the flood hazard areas in order to reduce the potential for loss of life and property, reduce the potential for health and safety hazards, and to reduce the potential for extraordinary public expenditures for flood protection and relief. And whereas the Wayne County Advisory Plan Commission, hereafter Commission, recognizes the occasional necessity to repeal and replace an ordinance for flood hazard areas with an ordinance that meets the requirements of new and revised state and federal floodplain management regulations. And whereas the Commission has determined that it is now necessary to repeal and replace the current ordinance for flood hazard areas and adopt an ordinance that meets the requirements of new and revised state and federal floodplain management regulations. Is there any further discussion? Is the general consensus at this time favorable or unfavorable?
Favorable. I want
Second.
to commend the planning department. They did a really good job of very thorough. I read every word of it. They did a fine job.
It's probably why Laura retired.
I'll move we accept the resolution.
I second.
Let me read the thing. Therefore, be it resolved by the Wayne County Advisory Plan Commission of Wayne County, Indiana, to favorably recommend and certify to the Wayne County, Indiana Board of Commissioners the adoption of the ordinance as follows, which is the attachment as you see on your ordinance.
All right,
I will entertain a motion.
You have a motion from Mr. Saunders and a second from Mrs. Scruggs.
Was it from Teresa? Okay. We have a motion on the floor here to adopt or pass with a favorable recommendation to the commissioners. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Mr. Chairman, I need a roll call vote on this.
Need a roll call?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Mr. Curley,
Yes.
Mr. Dwanger,
Aye.
Mr. Hollenberg,
aye.
Mr. Moore,
Aye.
Mr. Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Renier,
Aye.
Mr. Saunders,
Aye.
Mrs. Scruggs.
Yes.
And therefore, the resolution is passed, and we will forward this on to the commissioners with the favorable recommendation. I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
All in favor of closing the public hearing on the floodplain ordinance, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is closed. There is no new business as far as a public hearing is concerned, so we'll move on to the regular public meeting portion of tonight's meeting. Top of the list, election of officers for 2026. And Steve, besides the commission president, is there any other?
Vice President.
Vice President,
Vice Chair.
okay. I will entertain nominations for president of the commission for the next year.
Sounds like a railroad job to me.
I think so.
Which is fine.
I like status quo.
All
Is
righty.
that a motion?
I'll
Yes,
make a
it is.
motion, yeah, I'll make that motion, you can second it.
I can second it.
Yeah.
There's a motion and seconded that Dan Hollenberg remain as president of the Advisory Plan Commission for 2026.
Voice vote.
I'm sorry,
Voice vote.
voice was fine. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And thank you, Mr. Hollenberg. We also need a nomination for the vice president of the APC.
Who's the current vice
Currently
president?
it is Teresa, I believe.
Teresa, you willing to
Ask
serve
for it.
again?
Yes.
I nominate Teresa Scruggs.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor of retaining Teresa Scruggs as vice president of the Advisory Plan Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And welcome Teresa again.
Mr. President, you have before you, for the next item on the agenda, the proposed members of the Technical Review Committee and the Advisory Plan Commission Plot Committee. All these members have agreed to serve into this position.
Do we have to vote on this, or
Yeah, except
Do we do the technical committee and then the advisory, or do we lump them together?
I move that we approve the 2026 Technical and Advisory Plan Commission Plat Committee as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve the names nominated to be on the 2026 Technical Review Committee and the 2026 Advisory Plan Committee Plat Committee. All in favor of accepting these folks nominated for these positions signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the nominations are now accepted for these two committees.
And item number 3, obviously, we have not appointed or have not gotten a new plan director yet that can serve in this position. So I would suggest you put me there temporarily. And then Attorney Cross has presented a new contract to the county commissioners for 2026. So I would recommend that you put me in the place of secretary temporarily and Ron Cross as the attorney.
Temporarily as well? until
No,
this-
it'd be permanent.
Okay.
Well, temporary for a year. So moved.
Second.
Motion.
How would that work? I mean, so when there is a opportunity for a new APC secretary, then we would vote on that? Okay. Thank you.
We have a motion to accept the temporary appointment of Steve Higginbotham as the APC secretary and accept Ron Cross as attorney for 2026. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay, and the appointments are accepted. Next on the item, reappointment of Steve Higginbotham as hearing officer for the BZA. Any discussion?
Yes. So those meetings are weekly, every Tuesday? Every Tuesday.
If there's a petition to be filed. If there's no petition, the meeting doesn't occur.
Are they typically advertised?
They're not required to be advertised.
Okay. And therefore, they're not recorded?
The individual
That's correct.
petitions are not required to be advertised.
That meeting is not required to be advertised.
Okay.
And then, but, so on the weeks that there are BZA meetings scheduled,
Now, this is not BZA, this is the hearing.
hearing officer, but they're, the hearing officer's the same, approving the variances that the BZA would previously approve?
No. The jurisdiction of the hearing officer is very narrow. They hear the developmental standards variance, special exception variances. They do not hear variance of uses,
Okay.
but they can do amendments to a BZA-approved variance of use.
Is that, is that stated
It's
somewhere?
in state statute.
Okay.
And if those decisions are made by the hearing officer are not received well, that individual can appeal those to the BZA, correct?
If a person has standing in the petition, they can appeal that, and it goes directly to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Board of Zoning Appeals hears it. If they uphold it, then it ends there. If the aggrieved person still wants to appeal, then it goes to the court of Wayne County.
So there's a whole process. The hearing is to speed up the process and make it
And
streamlined.
that's why it's limited to just developmental standards and special exceptions. Variance of uses typically involve, bigger projects where what we had was a situation if someone wanted to build a accessory structure 30 feet as opposed to 50 feet, rather than making them wait up to 5 weeks to get on the BZA agenda, they get on this weekly. It speeds up the process.
Thank you for that clarification.
Question, if somebody objects to your ruling, other than a petitioner, do they have any rights at all?
Petitioner? Yes.
No, other than a petitioner, say
They have-
a adjoining landowner.
Adjoining landowner would have standing, and yes, they can appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay.
Any further questions or discussions for Mr. Higginbotham? If not,
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Steve to the hearing officer for the BZA.
Second that.
it's been moved and seconded that we reappoint Steve Higginbotham as hearing officer for the BZA. All in favor of the nomination signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Mr. Higginbotham has been reappointed.
And that pays very well, too.
Like all government positions.
I can tell. Okay, next we have to approve the meeting and file, the meeting dates and filing and publication deadlines for 2026 for the Advisory Plan Commission. If you look in your little packet, you have this table that highlights all the meeting dates and then indicates the last date to file and the last chance for the public notification to go out in a printed form. Any discussion about the dates of meeting or the filing dates and publication dates? Steve, do we anticipate there's been reviewed that there's not going to be a conflict? We had one last year where we had to move a meeting due to.
I don't think there will be that this year.
I move to approve the 2026 APC meeting dates, filing, and publishing deadlines.
Second.
We have a motion and seconded to approve the 2026 meeting dates, filing dates, and legal notice requirements. All in favor of accepting the dates as indicated on the sheet, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And that has been approved.
Item number 6 is simply a summary of
Yes.
the hearing officer petitions that have been heard since your last meeting that you had before. So that document is also in front of you. This requires no action on the part of the board.
Curious, we get these each meeting, an update on that. How often does your decision get appealed?
That's not, and we've been doing this for a couple of years.
And the petitioners typically seem to appreciate and like this format. We're good.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Is there any other topic of discussion that anyone would like to bring up for this meeting?
Other than that, I see the next meeting's February 19th. Just to make sure you have a quorum, I will not be here for that meeting. So, everybody be aware.
Justin, just as an FYI, typically we get a advance mailing or email, and sometimes a hard mail of stuff for the next meeting. If you know that you can't be there, you can send an email or give a phone call to the planning office.
Okay.
Just to let them know you will not be there, just so we know ahead of time if we're going to be able to get a quorum or not.
Certainly. Yep.
If not, as Brad noted, our next meeting is Thursday, February 19th, 2026, at 6 p.m., our usual time. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Say, it sounds like everybody wants to stay. Why?
I'm wondering, all in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Meeting adjourned.
There better not be.
No, let's stay some more.
Not yet, you want to?